Hello, welcome to my channel. My name's Elaine and this video is called Happy Feet because I think everybody should have happy feet and many people do not. If you suffer from fallen arches, if you have bunions, heel spurs, toes that just don't move very much, this is a great video for you. And you're going to need a few props. So you'll need a pen, a ball, and a block. Go and grab those, and we're going to start on a chair. You can do the class standing if you wish to, but just for ease, I'm going to start on a chair. So put your things to the side, and we'll start with the ball. So I'd like you to take the ball underneath your right foot, and I want you to hug the ball with your toes, squeeze the ball with your toes, and then push the ball to your heel. And then just roll forward and back a few times. We're just waking up the fascia and letting the brain know that we're going to be doing some work on this part of the body, because often the feet get really neglected. And they're so important because the strength and flexibility of your feet, particularly your big toe, goes up the chain and affects your knee and hip strength and stability as well. So when you've done that a few times, I want you to place the ball kind of just in front of your heel and push your front of your foot into the floor and push down. Now, if that doesn't feel like you're feeling too much, you can stand up and put a little bit more weight into it, and you might feel more there. We're just giving a little bit more pressure on these key points in the foot. And then you're going to move the ball forward to kind of the middle of the foot. So now your heel's on the floor and you're going to push down. And this place is more tender. So again, if you want to stand and push, you can. Ooh. Yeah, so that's a very special little point there. So just do that a couple of times and then release. And then just notice, just sit with your eyes closed for a moment. Observe the sensations at the base of the sole of your right foot and just notice the difference. Yeah, exactly. All right, so now start with the ball on the left foot and then roll. And you want to put quite a bit of pressure in here. Now, some people have really sensitive feet. If your feet don't get to ground on the grass or walk by themselves, skin to skin, as it were, on the earth, then this might be tender for you. So just do what you can today, just for you. Okay, now pressing that ball just above your heel and the mounds of the toes on the floor, push down a bit. And because I'm using a tennis ball, but you can use a rubberized ball, anything that you can take, you might have at home, can be handy. And then just move it forward. Ball is right in the middle of the foot. The heel is on the floor now, and then we push down again. And just notice, is this side different to the other one? Because we don't treat our legs the same or our feet the same. Okay, good. So that is a bit of ball work. Now, here's a little bit of foot gymnastics. So I want you to look at your feet sitting on the edge of your chair. I want to see if you can just lift your big toes into the air, pushing down all the other toes into the floor. And that may or may not be easy for you, and that's okay. You're just practicing. And then push down the big toe and lift all the other toes off the floor. And this is sometimes easier on one side than the other. And it takes a bit of communication. So it's like, okay, big toe, you stay down, other toes, you come up, and see what happens. And then can you switch between the two? So lift the big toes up, other toes down, big toes down, other toes up. So just do that a few times, and you'll find it will get easier. Now, I have really badly injured my right foot ankle when I was in India one time in an ashram in the dark. And so my right foot is not as responsive as my left. So just think about that. If you've had any injuries, you may notice that one side is more challenging, but it can get better. All right, so that's a little bit of fun. Now, I want you just to imagine that you're gently pressing your toes into the floor. I don't want you to see any white marks. So, you know, when you squeeze your fingers, the ends go white. Don't crush the toes, don't curl them, just simply press the pads down into the floor. And take a few breaths, feeling that connection with the ground through each of your toes. Sometimes those baby toes don't give as much feedback, but that's okay. And then release, lift the toes up. And then one more time, press down, really conscious that you're pressing and not squeezing or curling. There is a difference between the two. That's it. Good. Okay, and release. So now we're going to stretch a little bit more. That was a bit of strengthening. So lift up your right knee and put your heel over your knee if you can. If being on the floor and doing this is easier, feel free to do that. So I'm going to take my two thumbs and I'm going to start at the line of my big toe and I'm just going to press down all the way to my heel vertically. And then I'm going to start at the base of my second toe. I'm going to massage down there. And you get the idea. So each toe in turn, two little thumbs pressing together down that line. And I like to do this with my eyes closed because then I really notice, there's a tender bit there. And if you've ever had reflexology, I highly recommend it because every part of the body has been mapped to the sole of your foot. So any little sensations in places have a meaning. All right, so we've given that a nice massage. Now we're just going to give it a little clap to get some blood in there. If you suffer from cold feet like I do, this is a nice way to warm them up. Now, you're going to toe floss. So you're going to take your index finger, put it between your thumb, big toe and second toe, and so on, and so on, and so on, until you have your fingers flossed between your toes. Now, for some of you, this may be very difficult. I was practicing on my mom, and she found this impossible. So just do what you can today. If you can just get in between one or two toes, that is good. With time, these guys will open up and begin to stretch. And that will improve your balance because balance is critical, important when your feet are flexible and can grip well. Balance is much harder when you have no sensation or lack of sensation in your feet. Okay, so we've done that. Good. Now, we're going to take a hold of the big toe with the same hand as the knee, and you're going to hold it with the first and second fingers, and you're going to push it. Now, you can do it like this and push the toe away as the fingers pull in. You sometimes see yogis doing this pose, but that's a bit too much. You can just keep the foot here and push the toe away. This is strengthening the whole line of muscle that goes into the leg. And then relax it, pull the toe, relax it, and then push the big toe against those two fingers. Those two fingers are trying to pull, the big toe is trying to push, and that tug of war is what's going to strengthen those muscles. Good. I get a little hammer toe sometimes, so that was cramping up there. Okay, we've finished with that one. Take a moment and sit. Feel your feet on the ground. Notice anything different that might be there, and then open your eyes. So lifting your left leg now, those two thumbs starting at the base of your big toe, and just start to slowly press and really feel what feedback you're getting from your fingers as you draw that line down the back of your foot along each toe line. And if this is hard, if your knee's really up here, that just means you've got some tightness in your hip. So that's okay. As I said, maybe sitting on the floor might be easier to do this. So just play with it and see which position works for you. Okay, good. And then we'll just give them a little slap. We love you. We care about you. Okay, and here comes the flossing. So start to work the fingers between each toe. Get in as deep into those crevices as you can. And you know, I know feet can be a thing where people are like, I don't like feet. I don't like touching feet. It's kind of like that forgotten part of the anatomy that we just forget is there. It's it's really important to take care of them. So, you know, try to get over that. Just get that out of your mind and think these are the wheels of your engine, the car that you drive, which is your body, and these are your wheels. Imagine if your wheels are threadbare and collapsed and not good. The whole machine of your body cannot function well, right? So just think of it that way maybe. Okay, take them out. And then same knee, same hand. Hold those big toe with the first and second finger, and then push like you're putting the foot on the pedal. Vroom. And then relax. And then push. Really feel that. Do a little slide shot here, and then relax, and then push. And this is that Padangastasana pose that we do. Padang being the toe. Good. And release. Okay, just feeling your feet on the ground, sitting up nice and tall, closing the eyes if you wish, and noticing how the feet feel. All right, so now for some more fun. We are going to do an exercise with a pen. So put the pen down and place your toes over it and try to pick up that pen with your toes. Okay, I'm struggling. Maybe you're struggling too. Let's go. Okay, I got him. All right, so pick him up. Keep your toes elevated, your heel on the floor, and then drop it and lift your toes and spread them apart really far. Okay. And then do it again. So 3 times. I'm going to do it from the side so you can see. Get that pen and get a grip and try to lift it up. Heel in the floor, toes lifted, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. I'm feeling a lot. Ooh, then drop it and flex your toes up and away. Okay, so let's try it with the other foot. I happen to have another pen over here. So just grabbing it. And again, is this easier? This one's easier for me. The thicker the pen, the easier it is. Remember that. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then drop the pen, curl the toes up. Good. And then flex the foot. And again, foot is flexed, push down, grab it, squeeze it, lift it up, curl the toes, and then drop it, lift the toes, and relax. And you can practice that when you're watching TV. It's just a really fun thing. Your kids will enjoy doing it. And then let it go. Great. Okay, so we can put our pens away. Now we're going to do some standing. So I'm going to get you to stand up and you're going to walk on your toes. So just walking up and down like this. I know you can't see my head, but you don't need to. So it's like you're wearing 4-inch heels. Get those heels up as high as you can. Really good for strengthening your arches. And you could walk around the house like this. Really nice for strengthening your calves if you want to have nice shapely calves. And also doing it on a hard surface, you know, walk around on the ground. I know for some people this can be quite sensitive, so just try different surfaces, see how it feels. Okay, and then sit for a moment. The next one is going to be walking on our heels. This will be harder to do on a hard surface. See how you feel. So we're going to do this. Lift the toes and push the heels in. So it feels a little funny, but it's very good for strengthening the front of the ankles. Lifting the toes up. I do this with my senior students. Excellent for balance. Okay, so do that as much as you wish. And then we're going to come back. Great. So we're going to come down to the floor now to finish off our exercises. So I want you to come into sitting on your toes. So you're going to have your toes tucked and you're going to curl them under as much as you can and then try to sit back on them. Now I know this is really sore for some people. Take a look and just see where your toes are in relation to the floor. It could be your baby toe isn't even touching the floor, and that's okay. It could be your baby toe is crushed and it needs a little bit of love to be pulled out and stretched. So just notice what's happening. If it's really sore, just come up here, okay? This is less weight. Or put a cushion behind you. Just try and do that. And we're just going to do some little exercises for the fingers. I call these finger bursts. My last video, you saw that. Because hands and feet, important parts that get tight as we get older. So you want to keep them lubricated. Okay, now come up, put your feet flat on the floor, bring your hands down, and just do a little click, little drum roll with the front of your feet. And you might have guessed we're going to come to sit on the front of our feet now to stretch our ankles the other way. And again, this may be really painful. And if it is, then please put a blanket or something underneath you here. If you're okay to, you can bring your hands back. You're putting more weight into the ankle. A final option would be to lift the knees, putting more stretch through them. Okay, so just see which one of those two feels okay. Breathe, relax, let the fascia release, bringing more flexibility to your ankles. When your feet are more aware, when your ankles are more flexible, you're less likely to fall because they can react quickly. All right, our final exercises are going to be using the block. So we're going to put the block down and you're going to bring the pads of your toes onto the block, and then you're going to bend your knee and push in. So this is a massive stretch for your Achilles tendon. Yeah. So just feel that stretch. And if you want to use a chair, hold on to something if that feels a little unstable. If you wanted to move the stretch into the calf more, you just begin to straighten the leg. And the more you straighten it, I'm taking this leg back a little bit, you'll feel more. So the knee bent, more Achilles, the leg straight, more calf. Okay. Try not to grip your toes, relax them. That's one thing that I see a lot in yoga classes is toes being super gripped and they don't like it and it's not good for them. So bend your knee and feel into that stretch. Give yourself the support of a chair to make sure you feel safe, and then relax your toes. Can you lift your big toe as you do this? I find it impossible to do that. Good, and then lift onto the toes of the back and then begin to straighten the leg and move into your calf stretch and Achilles stretch. Okay, so to finish, come to sit, just extend your legs out in front of you and just do some nice little circles around for the ankle joints. Good, and then we're just going to see if you can make your big toes touch like a book. You're going to close your toes so the baby toes go towards each other, and then you're going to open the book and try to bring your baby toes up. So you close the book, you open the book, you close the book, you open the book. And this really demonstrates in the best way possible what happens when you move your feet to your legs. So perhaps you're noticing as you bring your baby toes in, the outside line of the legs is activated. And as you bring your baby toes up, the inner thigh line is activated. So notice how the hips are absolutely influenced by how you move your feet. I hope that helps you to take better care of your feet. That is all I'm going to give you today. Thank you so much for joining me. Please put your comments or questions in the notes, and if you'd like to subscribe. I reached 100 followers this week. That is a milestone for me. I've been doing these videos just for a couple of months since COVID-19 started, and I'm over the moon, thrilled that there's 100 people out there following me. Very blessed, and thank you so much for your support. And I'll see you in the next video. Namaste.